Welcome to Burning Letters podcast, where we hold space for stories that are often too heavy to carry alone. Today, I'm sitting with Kirsten, aka Drew, a woman who grew up between two worlds of divorced parents in a split home, very little peace, and one of those homes was with her father, who was marked by abuse, not safety. She spent her childhood searching, longing for the love from her father, craving the safety that she always seemed just out of. And during that chaos, she realized that there was something else that was going to shape her journey. And that's when she came out as a lesbian. This story is about navigating identity in the middle of dysfunction, about growing up in a world that didn't feel safe or accepting, and about the fight to love yourself when no one else taught you to.
Absolutely.
I think I hit that one on the head.
You absolutely nailed it.
And so let's go back to the beginning. When you were in your early childhood, you felt you were growing up in a split home with divorced parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that like?
Chaotic. My parents originally divorced when I was 5. So immediately I remember fighting, arguing, chaos in the home. My earliest memory of seeing real hurt was my mom in the kitchen, like in the fetal position, screaming, crying, and me watching my dad walk out and slam the door and knowing that, like, you know, oh, this isn't good. And it was the first time I ever saw somebody really hurt. My mom seeing her cry like that, I just was like, oh. So when they were together, it was so toxic that them being divorced, it was still toxic in both households, but it was separated. So it wasn't just one combined home where toxicity was just constantly surrounding me. Them being divided, I learned at a young age, was much better, because when they were together, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I felt really lucky that they divorced and that they didn't stay together. There was no positivity that came out of them being together at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So your childhood goes all the way back, or your abuse goes all the way back. Not your physical abuse, but you got to experience abuse, although not happening to you at the age of 5.
Well, 5 was the first time my dad put his hands on me. So that for me, earlier memories from 5, I barely have any, because it all starts there. It starts with seeing them fighting and arguing, understanding what hurt was, understanding what yelling, screaming was. And then 5 years old was when my dad was physically abusive with me for the first time. So then I was understanding I was very confused. I didn't understand. I'd seen him be rough with my mom and yell at my mom, but that was the first time he had ever put his hands on me. And I was just like, wait, my dad's capable of hurting me too. And so a lot of the fear and trauma came at 5, or like right around that age is the earliest I can go back in my memory. You know, what'll allow me to go back is 5. And yeah, it all starts there for me.
So when you're supposed to be enjoying life, going into kindergarten, starting your earlier, like your education, now you got to worry about all of this besides going to school and stuff like that. What was it like? So when you were with your dad, you experienced abuse, but when you would go over to your mom's, what was that? Was it peaceful? Was it chaotic there too?
My mom was on and off drugs my entire life. So, and she's bipolar unmedicated. So I was never in danger with her physically touching me or hurting me in any way. She was very much a protector. But when she would lose her mind, as I used to call it when I was younger, or when she was having an episode, I wasn't safe emotionally. I wasn't emotionally safe. I would have to leave her house in the middle of the night. She had a lot of relationships that were very toxic with people who put their hands on her. It didn't just, it started before my dad, and then it continued until the relationship she's in now, which is a great one. But before then it was just a different form of like a toxic household. It was just, hers was more around how people behave when they're on drugs and how they behave being bipolar unmedicated. So it was chaotic.
And then your dad's house was just chaotic.
It was just anger, rage, a man who was working too hard, driving 3 hours to get back and forth from work, trying to raise a child on his own, somebody who's very unhealed. Yeah, it was like two bad situations, but I always preferred my mom's because at least I was physically safe.
Right.
But like, yeah, the emotional aspect of it was really hard too.
So then how would you say that affected your life growing up as far as like love, trust, emotional safety?
It made it really hard for me to understand what love was because my parents both there was no shortage of saying, I love you ever. I never, went without hearing that I was loved by my parents. I heard it all the time, but I also heard it after being abused. I heard it after being put in situations that children shouldn't be put in, having no emotional safety. And 1 minute we're okay. The next minute plates are being thrown around and people are yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs and going through rage fits. It provided me no emotional security, no understanding of what it meant to be loved in a healthy way. So what I picked up from love and emotional safety was that it doesn't exist. And if it does exist, this is what it looks like.
So you took that from early on.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've known you 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Or longer.
Yeah. I think I met you when I was 7th grade.
Yeah.
So how old are you in 7th grade? 11?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So at least 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can sit here and talk about, yes, I remember some of the experiences that you went through and some of the trauma that you went through.
Mm-hmm.
And, not having that safe place or that safe home or, do I got to worry about what's happening in my home today, It
was scary too. Like in high school and being in journalism, I found things to do after school to keep me at school longer because I knew my dad got home from work at 5:30. He needs at least this much time to calm down before I get home. So I can run home really quick, get the house clean as I can, pull out the meat that needs to be defrosted. Then I can go back to work. I can avoid him for 3 hours. And then I can go home, sneak in late at night and like go to bed. Like that's what the safety was at my home. It was me navigating ways to protect myself and find things that worked that kept me out of his way. So when I found safety, it was at my friend's house. It was at your house. It was like where I understood what it meant to be loved and cared for and protected. I learned that from you, to be honest. I mean, being in 7th grade and having only had my parents, it was like entering a whole new world where I'm like, wow, somebody is sitting down with me, ask me how I'm feeling. She sees a moment where I'm acting out. And instead of like punishing me or hurting me, she's calming me down and asking me what's wrong with me. What do I need? Providing me support. Like that was huge for me. So like a lot of what I tried to take from my childhood were those good moments that I got from, sometimes my parents, but mostly from my friends' parents or my girlfriend's parents that like just protected me and provided me that home. And yeah, it's sad to say that I didn't get a lot from my parents when it came to what a true understanding of love and support is, especially emotional safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So growing up, getting out of high school, how did your childhood then affect your relationships as you got older?
I became my parents in a way. I found out when I was 18 that I have bipolar 1. So I immediately went into counseling and got myself medicated. I wanted to end the cycle of not medicating yourself, not doing what you need to do to make sure, people around you are safe and that you're not, a threat to yourself. But I became a toxic partner. I had a lot of relationships, and it's hard to look back on now, but I had a lot of relationships where I was lashing out or acting out because, I was an unhealed child who had a lot of trauma and built up anger and frustration. And I act out a lot in relationships and would lash out on people. And I just didn't know how to safely express myself and how to understand my own emotions. So like I got myself into counseling, and I've been in counseling since I was 18. I've never quit that journey. I'm having to undo like 17 years of trauma. So I feel like therapy probably will never end for me. I'm always learning something new. But yeah, it's within the last few years, I've done a lot of work on becoming a better partner and working really hard. But I still have my moments. That little girl still lives inside of me, and she still lashes out. She still has abandonment issues and, doesn't know how to react. I see my mom in me sometimes when I'm, at my breaking point. And instead of providing a safe place for my partner, I'm, screaming, crying, yelling. And I'm having to do a lot of emotional regulation therapy to get myself under control and to learn, like, when these moments are happening, how to provide safety for myself, most importantly, and then for the people that are around me in that moment. So it's, I never realized, having lived 15 years, I'm 31. So having lived that 15 years again, I haven't realized that first 15 years has impacted the next 15 years so drastically that I've had to undo so much. I feel like I haven't been able to live yet. I feel like I'm just now finally starting to live as a person. I'm like confident in, like, yes, I can have a decent conversation. I can express myself. I can stay calm. I can emotionally regulate myself. I can show up for you the way you need me to, but I still have my moments.
Right.
Still not perfect.
And nobody is, right?
Yeah.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
So when you say self-regulate, what do you mean?
So there's like tools that you learn, like in therapy, there's like tapping methods or like counting methods or finding a safe space. There's a lot of things that you can do when you get into therapy, or if you're reading any self-help books that will help you just emotionally regulate. And a lot of it has to do with immediately stopping once you feel, like, for me, it's like my whole body's like, blood pressure starts to rise in my body and I start to feel really anxious and my voice gets loud and everything starts to get really loud because there's so much going on in my head that I need to almost speak over it in a way. So, I have to take a second. I have to take a deep breath. I have to calm down. I have to look at my feelings and say, yes, these are valid feelings. Yes, these are real. But are they bigger than what they may be 20 minutes from now? Are you reacting much bigger to a feeling that is valid, but may not be as big as you're making it? So just like taking those moments and relaxing and, finding my safe space and calming down for a minute and then doing a bird's eye view of the whole situation, the way I'm reacting, how I saw myself, how I don't want to see myself, how I want to view myself, and then acting based off of that. So it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. I mean, and a lot of me feels pissed that I have to do so much work because someone did this to me.
Right.
I didn't wake up and was a terrible 5-year-old little girl and then became a terrible adult. Like, I've been fighting my whole life to stop the tendencies of those emotions or those actions. So sometimes I feel pissed that, like, I have to even sit here and do this, because if I didn't grow up in a household where you didn't scream, yell, fight, hit each other, my first reaction wouldn't be to go from 0 to 100.
Right.
I might have had a 0 to 10 to 15 and to elevate, like, what I feel, quote unquote, I know there's no normalcy, but a normal person or a more emotionally regulated person. So yeah, I mean, it can be frustrating for sure.
So do you ever find, not just in your personal life, but do you find it even in your work life where, like, because you got a great job.
Mm-hmm. I do have a great job.
And you have had to take those situations and even in your job, just be like, okay, fine, now I got to look at this. Because I know for me, I'm that same kind of person. I have to really be like, I can go from 0 to 100 that quick. Mm-hmm. But I also know that I have to be like, give me that time. I really need to be like, let me look at this whole situation before you put me into something different, because of the fact that, like you, I've had to, I wouldn't say on fault of my parents, because I didn't grow up in that kind of a household. But in my own mind, things that I've dealt with in my own life, that I actually can do that. I can go that quick and be hot-headed, and you'd be like, whoa, where'd this just come from? Right. But in my work life, that's where I find it, that I have to stop and I have to look at things and I have to be like, okay,
It forces you to, especially my job. I'm VP of customer relations. I've worked with this company for about 10 years. I've done customer service from the bottom all the way now up to the top. And I just had a customer yesterday who called me. She was completely out of her mind. She's like, it's 118 degrees in Phoenix. I'm hot. I can't find this location. I've been driving everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to express to her, like, she's getting so elevated. And it automatically, because of what I've gone through, I'm immediately starting to match her level and I can feel it. So I had to tell her, like, okay, hold on. And I almost had to coach her. And it reminded me of how I used to coach my mom as a child when my mom was really acting out. And just say, like, okay, calm down. Like, let me explain something to you. I can't get a sentence in. You got to give me a moment to say something to you. It's weird at work how I'm able to put those tools into place a lot better than I am sometimes in my own personal life when I'm not on. But when I have that work mask on, it's a lot easier for me to take a lot more from these people because I know she's driving in 118-degree weather. She's hot. She might not have AC in her car. Like, I know what heat can do to you in Phoenix and how angry it can make you. And like, so for that, I find more compassion, more like, I'm like, okay, I can slow down for this person and do this. But in my regular life, sometimes I don't have that same patience. It's hard for me because it's more personal.
So you just said something to me that just immediately went into my head, and you used the word compassionate. Mm-hmm. I can find it for me to be more compassionate for somebody else. But let me ask you this. Why can't you find that same compassion for yourself?
I think because I haven't experienced a lot of compassion for myself. Like I haven't given myself a lot of compassion. And I also wasn't given a lot of compassion. It was a lot of like, toughen up. Life fucking sucks. This is what you get. This is what you're going through. It is what it is. Cry and move on. So like for me to sit there and be like, it's okay. It's okay, Kirsten. Like you just need to, you're doing, you're working hard. It's been a long day, or like, you're going through something. It's hard for me to do that for myself because I don't know. I guess I wasn't shown it enough and I haven't practiced it enough. I'm very hard on myself. I am my own worst critique. I am my own worst enemy sometimes. I can, it's just that voice that lives in my head, and the voice from childhood or whatever it's from, but it's something I fight within myself. I always talk about it being the little kid inside of me because I feel her rebellion and her anger and her frustration. And I'm always like, it's little Kirsten in there. She's
she's fighting you.
Yeah, she's fighting me a little bit. So
I have a little Cammy inside of me. That's for sure. Do you think that your parents ever saw you for who you really are?
Honestly, no. Even today, I love my mom. We have a good relationship. We have made amends on a lot of things, and we've come really, really far. But does my mom know me? Does my mom know my favorite song? Does she know what color I like? Could she go into a store and get me my favorite cup of coffee or my favorite drink or my favorite snacks? No, I don't think she could. I think she's good at knowing things that I'll like potentially, but like, does she know me? Did she see me? I came out when I was 6. I knew I liked my first grade teacher, and I came home and I told my parents, I like my teacher. And my dad laughed, and my mom was like, oh, you're being silly, just whatever. But my dad was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the next grade, I liked this girl named Sarah Roberts. And I was confused on why I liked a girl because no one around me was gay. I didn't see anybody gay. Gay wasn't on TV. It wasn't a thing. I had no idea what was going on. And a lot of my life, they just kind of shoved it to the side, didn't care to really see it, didn't really care to see it. I remember my dad at like 16 was like, I guess I can accept it now. Maybe this isn't just a phase. So it's like, did they ever take the time to really see me or really try to understand me or have a conversation with me about who I am? No. And I still don't think they have. And there's been so many versions of me throughout my life that they've missed because they've been so wrapped in their world and what they're doing. And they're one kid.
Mm-hmm. So. Do they know I'm going to call you Drew, but do they know the Drew that you are today?
I don't think so. I think they know how hard I worked to get here, and they watched me go through some pretty hard things, especially my divorce. I think they know basic things about me. I think they know pretty much somebody who's known you for 20 plus years, how much they know about you when you don't see them every Christmas. You don't see them every vacation. You don't visit them often. You talk on the phone every once in a while, 5-minute conversations. How well do you know that person at that point?
Right.
I don't think that they do know me now, which is unfortunate. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because I'm great.
They would love me. I think you're amazing, so I think you're better than great.
And I honestly think I'm when I see the good parts of them, there's so much of that in me. And I'm like, sometimes I just got the best parts of you guys. And if you would just open your eyes and see it, I think you would really appreciate it. And you'd see the good in yourself.
Right.
But
yeah, exactly it. And it's a good thing that you can actually do that and see the goodness of them in you and know, okay, I don't not only get their bad side, but I still got a lot of
funny
good.
As hell. My parents are funny as hell, and they gave me that. I'm quick, I'm funny, I'm a good time, and like charismatic, they're the same exact way. There's so many good parts of them when you put all their trauma and their bullshit to the side. They are really funny, charismatic people. And I mean, they tell me like, oh, kid, you're so funny. Like, oh, you're so quick. You're just like us, blah, blah, blah. So like they recognize it sometimes. But there are other parts of me, like my loyalty comes from my dad. Like that's so strong. It's so deep. My dad can be an extremely loyal person when he's in a safe place. So I just think that there's so many parts of me that they're missing out that would be a good reflection for them. Mm-hmm. But no one can lead a horse to water.
And you can't make them drink, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly it. So you kind of touched about like when you first realized, oh, I like my teacher, you know, oh, I like this girl, oh, this or that. Like, when do you think, and you kind of touched base on this really, is when your dad kind of was like, okay, yeah, maybe this isn't a phase. Because I mean, even as me, as a parent growing up and raising 3 girls and having 3 girls and you guys, you know, being like, oh, I'm this or I'm that, or I like this person or I like that person, you know, I even caught myself being like, oh, that's a phase. You know, you guys just go through it. And I think that, you know, every girl wants to be like, oh, well, you know, I know what girls like. I know what women like, you know, I mean, like ideal situation, right? But like, what, you know, how did your mom take it? You kind of like, how did they just take it? Did they just finally come to grips with it?
I had known for so long, and because I wasn't exposed to anyone else who was gay, I think they kind of raised an ear to them. And my dad was kind of more like, maybe she was born like this. Because I think everyone thought, you know, gay isn't something you're born like. It's something you pick up. But because I was so young, and I didn't have boyfriends growing up. I had like a boyfriend in 5th grade named Chad, which...
Poor Chad.
We don't want to get into Chad. But yeah, so like I tried, but I knew since I was so young, I just absolutely knew it. And I would tell my parents, and I'd have girlfriends, and I'd have like always guys that were around me were my best friends because that's all they ever were to me since forever. My mom didn't take it well when I finally came out. So I officially came out. This is really silly. I was in 7th grade and I posted a bulletin on MySpace and I said, fuck it, I'm gay. And everyone commented on it and goes, we know. And I'm like, I'm not bisexual, I'm a lesbian. And they go, we know. And I was like, oh, I'd always known. Everyone had always known. I don't know. It was never a secret. It just honestly felt something so real that like, wow, I was really born this way. Because since as long as I can remember, like I had a boyfriend in 1st grade. His name was Israel. He like kissed me on the playground. I remember being like, ugh, like disgusted. And I wanted to hang out with Sarah instead. So I just have always known. But my mom, she wasn't too proud. Her first question, which I'm going to look at the camera for this one because she should be a little bit of ashamed of herself. She said to me, did somebody touch you? Did a man hurt you? Did a man touch you? Is there something happening like that? Have you been molested? And I said, Mom, I told you I was gay. I told you I wasn't raped. And she said, I know, but I'm just trying to understand why you would be gay. And I was like, so I called my dad. I said, Dad, I just told Mom I was gay. And he goes, okay. My dad has always been accepting, always, forever. When I was growing up, he was always like, okay, leave the bedroom doors open no matter what girl was in my house. Even Corey, he'd be like, leave the bedroom doors open. So like, it didn't matter what happened. He was always okay with it. He always knew. He never made me feel bad. He used to say like, oh, it might just be a phase, kid. Like, don't put a label on yourself because you never know. But by the time I was 16, he was cool with it. But I called him and I told him what she said. And he was like mortified. He's like, that. First of all, I don't even know why I should ask you that. Why? Like, that's not the time or the place. And that has nothing to do with the child being gay. Like, you've been saying this since as long as we can remember. And I'm like, yeah, I just remember it. It made me realize that she was going to struggle with it the most. And she did. My first wife, we were married 10 years and she didn't call her my wife until the last year of our marriage. She was my friend, Samantha.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was sad. And my aunts would call her out. My aunts were like, that's her wife. Say it. Say it's her wife. My mom had gay friends. And she said, it's okay for my friends, but I don't want my child to be gay. I don't want that for you. I said, well, this is my life. This is me. I can't pick it. I can't choose. And I tried when I was in 7th and 8th grade. Before I came out as a lesbian, I tried being intimate with a man. I tried, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to prove to myself, like, are these feelings legitimate? Are these real? And I did. And I was in a very uncomfortable situation with men and was like, yeah, I'm very confident in who I am and what I want, and what I like. And sorry, everybody, I was born this way. Like, I'm trying to undo it and it's not getting undone. So yeah, she finally did accept Sam, and she's come around. She's made huge moves since then. She absolutely adores my current girlfriend, loves the hell out of her, and, calls her my girlfriend and brags about, oh, Kirsten and her girlfriend are coming to see me. So like, it's really nice now. But growing up, I would have loved that support. But I got that support from you. I hate to say it. A lot of the things I didn't get from my mom and I didn't have from my mom, I got from you. I was so fortunate to have you around. You never made me feel weird. You're never weird about my girlfriends. You're never weird about me not liking guys. You never tried to convert me. You took me to church and never made me, anytime I felt uncomfortable, you're like, we can leave if you want. It was never anything that, you didn't use God against me. You used him for me. And even though I'm not a religious person, it was nice to be in a place where you were like, hey, even if they say something you don't like, we can go. Like,
right, exactly.
So yeah, I didn't get a lot of the support from her until as an adult, which, at least it came around. I'm grateful it came around.
Better sooner than later, right?
Yeah.
Exactly it.
You got accepted at some point. And then I look back at pictures of me in third grade with a basketball cap and a t-shirt and jeans. I'm like, you guys didn't know? Nobody knew? Come on.
So I asked Corey, I said, when did Drew come out? And she said 7th grade. I said, 7th grade?
But I knew way before that. I told Morgan, my best friend, in 5th grade. I told my parents in 2nd grade.
Right.
I've known forever. And it was confusing to me because I was the only gay kid. Right. No one else was gay. So I'm like, something's wrong with me. Why do I like girls? Help me. Help me. I was like, something's wrong with me. And I tried so hard to like boys, but I was like, don't touch me. Don't get too close. You smell.
Do you think, though, that that they didn't accept it, or did you have I know we were just talking about how mom was just like, oh, who touched you? Who did this to you? Who did that to you? Because I'll say, just because a man touched me inappropriately didn't make me gay.
It's so ignorant. It's ignorant.
Exactly. I guess I would have been.
It's completely demolishing the idea that someone can be born queer and that it's not a choice. And it's offensive in a way, because why would I want that life? And growing up, I hated it. I was the only gay kid. I didn't grow up in a time like right now where being gay, being non-binary is okay and it's accepted and it's loved and people want you to come out of the closet. When I grew up, you stay in the closet. If not, you go to a Dunkin' Donuts and kiss your girlfriend on the mouth and have somebody throw coffee on you. Like, that happened to me. There are things that happened to me growing up gay because I was gay in public. Like, I still have a fear sometime of holding my girlfriend's hand in public or kissing her in public. A little part of me goes, oh, because when I was growing up, people would say that stuff. I don't want my kids to see this. I don't want, I couldn't exist in public without people saying stuff to me. And I didn't have a core group of gay friends around me to help me navigate through that. And then when I would go stay the night at my friend's house, their parents would open the Bible and start reading to me because I was the gay kid. And they would try to convert me and just tell me all the reasons why being queer was a sin and being gay is a sin. And I'm just like, can somebody help me? I don't want this.
I need to get back to Cammie's house.
Yeah, I'm I need to go to, this is awful. Because it's I've tried to fight it for so long because my environment told me this was not okay. But inside, you can't deny those things. Mm-mm. And how selfish to deny it. How selfish to you, your future partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you think about it. You think about if you had said, oh, I'm just going to suppress this and I'm going to put this deep down inside of me, I'm going to ignore, you would have lived a miserable life.
Miserable.
Yeah, you would have been miserable.
Absolutely miserable.
And you probably wouldn't have gotten the healing and because I always say you can suppress a lot of stuff, but at one point in time, you're going to break,
I'm so gay. I can't suppress it if I tried. Listen, you're being 5, 6 years old and your first crush being your teacher, flex. I just want to say that. I found the hottest woman in the room and I was like, she is so hot. I love her. I want to be around her. So I just think it's funny.
That's probably why your girlfriend's hot too.
That's why my girlfriend's hot. Same thing. You find the most beautiful woman in the room and you're like, you're captivating.
Exactly it. I hear that. How, like, in your journey, so you've had this, like, we have just, like, threw a whole bunch of stuff out there, right?
We have.
We've thrown out abuse. We've thrown you coming out. We've thrown how people reacted to you. Like, I'm still stuck on the whole Dunkin' Donuts issue because, girl, you know me. I would have lost me.
What you would have done to that lady? You would have told her daughter, turn around real quick. You want to see this?
Because to me, it's just mind blowing. I don't understand like how we're in today's society, or even back then. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, it was like 2011.
Even in 2011, I think that it was a beginning of like everything being okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for people to be like saying, I don't want my kids around. I don't want my kids around it.
I wasn't surprised
your kids are going to see it whether you're around or not, because there's so much of it.
And all we were doing was kissing. You're showing them two people who love each other. That's a beautiful thing. We weren't fighting. We weren't screaming, causing a scene. She's like, listen, I don't want my kids to see people fighting, let alone gay people fighting. Not that makes sense, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a moment of love. It was a sweet moment. And for a kid to see that and be like, wow, two women can kiss. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we want to teach our kids. It's okay to love whoever you want. Like, you're supposed to look inward. And look inside of people, like what they look like on the outside, who they are on the outside. If you want your kid to judge based off that, to me, it was like poor parenting. Second of all, also, you just assaulted me in a Dunkin' Donuts. You're worried about what your kids are saying. They just saw you assault somebody for kissing their partner. I hope that kid, I don't know if that kid remembers that, but if she does, I hope she learned something from it.
Yeah.
Because
she probably came out. No, I'm just joking.
She's probably gay now. It never goes to Dunkin'. Brings her mom a Dunkin' Donuts every time her girlfriend comes over. Jeez.
Mom, I brought you something.
Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, Amy, my new girlfriend, Kara. And then they kiss. And she throws the Dunkin'.
How funny. But no, so, I mean, like, you literally have gone through it.
I have.
You have gone through it.
I've gone through it, but I'm still kicking it.
Exactly. I love this version of you.
Thank you.
I really
She's
do.
my favorite.
I really do.
Oh, she's my favorite.
I've always loved me some Drew. So, you know, I always say, oh, I'm your number one supporter. You know, I'll be there. I'll be rocking some Drew.
My manager when I get rich. When I'm famous and rich, you're my manager 100%. I can't do anything. My momager 100%.
There you go. You know, I mean, I just think it's like, you know, so many different things like I've seen you go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember the abuse. I remember the nights where you're busting through my door and I'm getting the phone calls from your dad, you know, just Kirsten's on her way, or Kirsten there? Because, you know, he wanted to make sure you were still taken care of. And he always knew that I was your safe place and that I would be there for you. And so, but to see you where you are today and your healing and your journey and knowing that it's so much different. Do you think your move to Seattle, though, helped you a lot?
Oh, absolutely. This move to Washington literally changed my life. I unfortunately had to go through a divorce when I got here, and it was awful. And that was a relationship, you know, we'll get more into that later. But yeah, I had to really pick myself up. And I had to say, no more. This is it. This is the end. I need to heal. I need to recover. I need to be better. And every day I wake up, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. Every day, every single day. It's the first thing that comes to my mind. So.
Yeah. And you think about it. I always say this is that if you wake up today and you're not, let's say you're just not feeling your best, but you look back and you go, yeah, you know, well, I guess I'm better than I was yesterday. Even if it's only 1%. And if every day you wake up and you're only 1% better every single day, you're 365% better at the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
You know? And so for, people who are, but I can't find nothing that's better than yesterday, or today's not a good day, Just look and find that, that you are. You're 1% better by just waking up.
And having gone through what you went through yesterday.
Exactly.
That makes you better already. You already gain a point because you woke up from yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Totally agree.
We were talking earlier. What's my favorite saying? One of my favorite sayings.
When you're at rock bottom, there's no place to go but up.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, if I was to tell somebody that my thing is that always to make sure, if you're at rock bottom, you can circle around, swirl around, do whatever you want. But when you really look down at it and you're at that rock bottom place, there is only one place to go.
Yep.
And that is up.
It is.
So when you were at your rock bottom, and you talk about your divorce,
mm-hmm.
and obviously that was probably one of your, I'm at
lowest
my
rock bottom for sure.
What was it like waking up? How did you wake up every day?
Barely. I just crawled myself through everything. But I put that in my mind of, I'm going to do better today than I did yesterday. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be stronger today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be more patient than I was yesterday. Just repeating that over and over. What I've realized through life, and it's so true, no matter how many people I surround myself with, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's me. I'm the only one who has gone through every single moment with myself, no matter what.
Exactly.
So whether I'm getting divorced, whether I'm buying a house, no matter what I'm doing, it's me. And it's funny, I have a 18-year-old dog now, or a 13-year-old dog.
I was going to say, she's 18 years old.
No, she's 13, sorry. I've had her since I was 18. But she's 13, and I think to myself, other than me, this dog is the only one who's really been here long enough every single day with me to experience what I've been going through. And it's just a dog. But in reality, it's me. It's all I have is myself, and I've gone through all of this myself. So when I was at rock bottom, I just, play my little Cami recorder, got my Cami going in my head, and there's no place to go but up, and you just drag your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Counseling helps. Therapy helps.
Mm-hmm.
I need to say that. I am such an advocate for therapy.
I'm a firm believer in it too.
It will never harm you. It will always help you.
Yeah. You just have to make sure that you find the right counselor.
100%.
Because I've seen some people there.
Sometimes it is like dating, finding somebody who matches you well and who you match with, and you're like, okay, this is good. We can make progress here. Because I've had counselors, I've gone to them a couple times. I'm like, listen, Steve, I get that you're trying, but we're not making a connection. I'm almost feeling more upset when I leave here. I'm not feeling better. So I'm going to look elsewhere. And I feel like that's very normal. Same thing with doctors.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you're not getting the care you need, speak up.
Right.
Find someone different.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself the help you need. If you just go to get yourself help and it's not the help you need, you're not getting yourself help.
Right. Well, I'm sitting here laughing inside. I ain't even going to lie. It's like dating. So next time I tell somebody to go date your therapist.
Literally.
Go on a date with your therapist.
Give your therapist 2 to 3 sessions. That's what I give my therapist, 2 to 3 sessions. If we're not making movement or I'm not feeling something by the 3rd time, it's not going to go anywhere. Because it really should only take, this is just what I've read before by therapists, it should take 12 sessions to really make a move, really make movement in your life. They should be able to see you within 12 weeks, and there should be movement constant as you're going. And a lot of people only need 12 weeks of counseling for certain issues. So some counselors will only see you for 12 weeks. And then they say at that point, you need to move on to something else or whatever. But that's the goal. So if you're on your 3rd time and you haven't made traction, or you're not feeling the way you think you should be feeling,
go. Get out. Get your new one. Swipe to the left.
Goodbye. It's like Next. Remember when we were kids, the Next bus? Next.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think of it like a dating app.
Yeah.
Nope.
Next.
Swipe to the left. Mm-hmm. And then you accidentally swipe to the right. And then you're like,
I accidentally super like. Damn it.
I didn't mean to do that. That's horrible.
And then they message you. I super like you too. You're like, I super made a mistake.
That is too funny. So on your journey,
mm-hmm.
you've had to learn a lot about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to do a lot of self-help,
mm-hmm.
a lot of self-love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about self-love. And I think that a lot of people, when it comes to self-love, they don't know how.
Right.
I think that they, like you said, you're your worst enemy. You're critical, or, you can pick yourself apart.
Like no one can talk shit better to me than I can talk shit better than me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I'm like, self-love is like a mandatory thing, and even though when you're feeling broken, you can say, oh, I'm broken today. You're not broken. You might be shaken today. You might, have some sort of emotion, but you're not broken.
Right.
Or how do I love myself the way I should? Why do I deserve to love myself? I was actually thinking about this morning, and I was like, if I asked Drew, literally, if I asked Drew, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you this because I want to know, tell me 3 things that you love about you.
Oh, I'm ready.
Do it.
I've been on the journey of self-love.
Okay.
I love so much that you can bring me absolutely anywhere and I will make a friend. I will make friends. I will find fun. I will have a good time. Like, you can bring me anywhere and I'm going to love the people and they're going to love me. I love that about me. I just feel like I'm somebody who's always down. Another thing I like, I really like how loyal I am. I think sometimes it's to the detriment of myself, but I do love so much that I can see things in people, value it, hold it very close to me, and protect it. The third thing, I think I love how creative I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love the arts. I love being creative in that way, but I'm also a little bit of a MacGyver. Like, I'll always find a way to fix something. So just the creativity aspect of me, I really like it.
Yeah, I remember your quirky Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the home.
Home, where the hoe and me come together. I made her that for Christmas. Home, where the hoe and me come together.
Yeah, I still have that.
I love that.
I think I always say, well, when Drew makes it big as an artist, I got one of her earlier pieces. Yep. Maybe it wasn't one of her best pieces, but I still have it.
But it's a total saying, goes back to like, you can bring me anywhere. Like, that was hilarious. It was just a funny, good time. And it's just like taking a little piece of art, and it was cute. It was like painted pretty, but it's like talking about being a hoe. So it's a good time.
Well, and let me go ahead and clarify why I got this fine piece of art. It was a holiday. It was Christmas, and we were doing our white elephant gifts. And I'm like, man, I know if I get Drew's, it's going to be something really, really good. Little did I know, but I got a piece of her early artwork.
So funny. So funny.
I think I have like 3 actually. I have, I want to say you did me a Cardinals one too.
Oh yeah, I made you a Cardinals one. I made Cisco a 49ers one.
Yeah.
I was painting for a bit, getting some sports stuff out there.
And so do you think that's therapeutic? Is that one of your therapeutic?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, the problem is though that I realized, and if anyone listening has any pointers, artists out there, I find it really hard when I am depressed and I really do want to paint. I find it hard to get the momentum to go get everything ready to do it, because you have to go, you got to get your paints out. You got to lay something down. You got to get your canvas out. You got to get a pencil. You got to be ready. You got to, I like to smoke before I paint. And then just like all of having to get everything together and do it. By the time I'm usually done doing that, I've run out of that energy because I'm depressed. I'm going through stuff. So I'm like, I want to paint so bad, but I'm just like looking around at everything sitting in front of me now. And I'm like, I just want to lay down now. I don't even want to do this anymore. So sometimes I rob myself of those creative moments because I need that extra push. Once I get it all set up, I wish I could just give myself something that's like, do it, go. And I'm reading Mel Robbins' book.
Let Them.
Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and go. So I'm trying it. And right now that Let Them book is changing my life right now. It is magnificent. And I feel like sometimes she's talking to me personally and she needs to calm it down a little bit. But it's just, I think that I'm going to try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 push thing because I need something to get me back into art when I'm feeling that way. It's just hard sometimes to.
Do you have a place in your home where you can have like, just like maybe even if it's a small area where you could have something that's already set up where you're like ready to rock in case you slip into that moment?
I could actually like take the time to set something up, and I probably should do that. I should do it on a day I'm feeling good and get myself a little set up. So then when I go look at it, I just know I can just, get a bowl of water and be good to go. Yeah. I need to do something like that for sure.
Right. Yeah. That's, I have a let them shirt, and I'm a firm believer in let them.
Oh yeah.
Let them. I mean, because, you think about it, you can't really control other people. You can't control their emotions. You can't control their feelings. You can't control their anger. You can't control whatever it is that's making them either lash out or making them be the way they are towards you, towards somebody, right? And so when you really think about it, and I love Mel Robbins too, and I love that book. Matter of fact, everybody around me pretty much has a copy of it.
Yeah, I already got a couple people copies too.
Yeah, it's one of the best books to give somebody. And when they actually sit down and read it, then they go,
Well, it's not even just the let them, it's the let me part. Because you can do the let them all day long, just like she says, but then you're on this like superior, like, I'm better. Oh, let them do that. I don't care. But it's let me find peace in that. Let me take that in and accept this. Like there's the let them goes with let me so hard that it's like, yeah, it's amazing.
See, and I think that what I've noticed is people think that when you think the let me's or me, just even not even let me, but me, people seem to start thinking, oh, you're being selfish.
Right.
Because now you're making it about you. When really it may not be about you, but now you've made it about me. But what they don't realize is I didn't make it about me. You made it about me. Right. You're the one who made me go to wherever I went in this headspace. And so with the coming up of like the mental health, and we have to know like, is this a good situation? Is this a bad situation? Do I want to put myself into this? Do I want to walk away from this? What do I do?
Right.
And when you think about them and you give them the let me's or give them the let thems and you do the let me, that it's not a selfish move. It's not a selfish move at all.
It's fair for everyone. It's the kindest thing you can do for the people around you.
Yeah. And not only that, it's, I have to protect me.
100%.
Because people will sit there and, oh, no, there's no O's to it. It's, I have to protect me.
And people have to be okay with that. And if they aren't, that's a red flag for me. If you don't want me to protect myself before I protect you and protect my peace before I'm protecting yours, like what?
What's your top 3 red flags? I know mine.
My top 3 red flags? I don't know. I'd have to think, because for the last 20 years, I've been a bull running through red flags like they were the best thing on earth. So what are my top red flags? I have 100 red flags that I can think of, and I still will ignore them. My sister told me this thing, and she said, when people show you their colors, stop trying to repaint them. And she's like, artist. I was like, okay, it hit me personal, but it's so true. Because I'll see a million red flags in people and ignore it because I think, oh, they just need help. Oh, they've never had somebody to sit here and really be patient with them or understand them, or like, oh, they just need somebody to guide them, or they just need to feel safe, or blah, blah, blah. So I don't really have a top 3. I'll have to think about that and get back to you for like top 3 now moving forward in my life. I guess the number 1 has to be like no self-awareness. Because if you're not aware of yourself, that's already a problem. That's like you're struggling internally. You're affecting everyone around you. Another red flag, inconsistency. I don't really like inconsistency. Yeah, I'll have to keep thinking. I'm going to come up with the top 3.
You've already came to 2.
Yeah. I'm like, what are my real top 3, though, if I really sat down and thought about it? Like, from this point in my life moving forward, since my divorce moving forward, what are 3 things I absolutely refuse to, like, accept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
infidelity should be, it's not even on there because it should be a given.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that.
That's like the biggest
I'm like,
flag
that's
of all.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's red anymore at this point. It's just a flag. It's huge.
Exactly. But I mean, you think about it. I mean, we hear that the divorce rates are some of the highest that they've ever been because of, we lived in COVID, and all of a sudden, I find out, I don't like you anymore because I now have to spend 24/7 with you. Ooh, we're not compatible. That job kept us together.
That's so funny.
Or you getting out of the house every day for 12 hours to go do your job, and, things like that. But yeah, that one definitely was an eye awakener for many people, and, things like that. But yeah, I didn't really I would ignore red flags.
Yeah, too.
But you said it, we're like a bull.
I was like a bull running into him.
Yeah, exactly it. And see, and I can sit here and think I resonate with that. I get that. And I didn't really, even on my self-love and my self-journey of finding myself and doing, things different than what I've been used to all my life. I had to be okay, to me, when you meet people, their flags start appearing rather quickly.
What it is, the people who carry a lot of red flags are really intense people. The people who are really the ones that really are intriguing or captivating. There's something about them that draws you to them so much, and you ignore the red flags or look past them, because some of the best people I've met have some of the worst red flags. And then they turned out to no longer be the best people I've met. But and initially I'm so captivated or intrigued with these people that you ignore them and you don't look at that stuff. And then, one day you realize you just can't ignore that stuff anymore, especially if people aren't getting themselves help. Because I think everyone comes with a couple red flags. I think everyone does. Just a couple little, maybe yellow flags. Just flags are things that you could probably work on or change and whatnot. But if you have no self-awareness, which is what comes back to that, I mean, then you are just a red flag. I like a couple yellows. Have a couple yellow flags in there.
Yeah. I
irritable
give people
when hungry.
Here's a Snickers.
Yeah, literally. You're just not you when you're hungry.
Exactly. I get that one. Yeah. So when I went through my self-love, my journey by I can't say I even did it by myself, because my daughter and her husband was there with me, but I learned that if somebody has some serious red flags, I need to know that that's not my person. They're not part of my circle. And I've always had a pretty large circle, and I have a Cheerio now.
Cheerio.
I have a Cheerio.
That's perfect, though.
Exactly it.
What more do you need?
I don't.
Hearty, healthy.
Roll deep.
Good cholesterol.
Exactly. That's all part of the self-love journey too, right?
That's so funny.
And so, but if you could, I'm going to take you back.
Yeah.
If you could tell your 5-year-old little girl self something, what would you tell her?
It's okay not to be okay.
Tell me more.
I think I just spent a lot of my childhood and a lot of my life so scared and so not okay that I just wanted to be okay so bad. And I think I was just constantly running, and I didn't know how to just sit in what I was in. I was always just trying to run from one thing to the next thing, trying to find happiness in different places. But even as a little kid, I remember just feeling so lost and feeling so uncomfortable in not being okay. But yeah, I would probably just tell her to it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be in this situation because nothing lasts forever. And, another one of my favorite sayings is everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. So I'd probably give her a little bit of that wisdom.
So, would you protect her now in a different way?
Yeah, I protect her every day, but I would protect her different. Yeah, I would protect her different. I often daydream about being this age and my dad being his age and me being that 5-year-old girl and just being able to be his friend. So I could be like, yo, dude, the way you're treating your kid is like asinine. This is not okay. Like, I wish I just like daydream about being able to like go get me, like pick me up and like take me somewhere different and raise me myself. Like, I literally daydream about it sometimes because I'm like, I just can't. I would give anything to save me. Yeah.
And so with Burning Letters podcast, we actually burn a letter at the end, right?
Right.
And your letter is about your dad.
It is to my father. Yep.
That is amazing. I challenge you sometime to sit down and write a letter from you today to your 5-year-old self.
Yeah.
And write that letter to her, letting her know from this day forward what you will do. That was another piece of my healing journey. And part of that was telling my 5-year-old self, because it's kind of crazy how me and you both, it's our 5-year-old self, you know, telling your 5-year-old self what you have to say today. Like my 5-year-old self, I told her I will forever protect her.
Oh, yeah.
And that I'm sorry that I had let her down, knowing that, you know, I allowed this person to do these things to me and not ever speak up about it.
Right.
You know, I said I was taking this one to the grave. When my mom passed away, I just so happened to be on a podcast that day speaking about my journey, speaking about my 5-year-old self. And my sister was listening to my podcast and she put her phone by my mom's head. And my mom said to me, "Oh, I'll hear your story. I'll hear your story." And I kept saying, "No, you won't. No, you won't. You will be gone before you ever hear my story." And she said, "I'll hear your story." And my mom passed away an hour after hearing my story.
Yeah.
So
that's powerful.
Protect that 5-year-old little girl. And when you're struggling and you're having those moments of, this is my 5-year-old little girl, give her those moments.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay. It really is okay. And I think about when I reflect back to those moments, it's okay. Because without everything that has happened, I wouldn't be the woman I am today.
Oh, I'm so grateful. It makes me sick to say it because when I think about what I went through, but I'm so grateful that I went through all of that and that those were the cards I was dealt, because the woman I am today is incredible. And I wouldn't be here or her without all those experiences. I wouldn't be as strong. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be me.
Right. I'm a firm believer everything happens to us for a reason.
Right.
We may not know the reason today. We may not know the reason tomorrow, but sooner or later, that reason will be rebuilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
My podcast is built off of my reason.
Yeah.
My podcast is built off of that one burning letter. I had a life coach, and I will forever be thankful for her because she's the one who brought this out in me. If something like, I'm 58 years old, girl, I did not learn. I wish I would have known what I know now at 31, because I'm sure my life would be a whole lot different, you know, but it's like everything happened for a reason, and I'm okay with it now. Right. But I wasn't okay with it.
Oh, me either. I was very angry for a long time. Long time. It's hard not to be.
Right.
Because, you know, you're living with the repercussions of what happened to you.
Exactly.
You know, and you couldn't have done anything about it or changed it. And it's not like somebody handed you a deck of cards and said, pick one, this is your life. And you picked the wrong one.
Exactly.
You had no option. So.
Exactly. You know, and so it's just kind of crazy, but it's definitely a story, you know, and thankfully, I mean, I've gotten to share my story, and I've met some incredible people who you would think that you're like, you share that same story as I do. You was that little girl. You was that little girl being molested. You was that little girl dealing with some man who's inappropriately touching you. That doesn't, it's just that. It's that, and it's okay, because it makes us who we are today. But do me a favor, write that letter.
Yeah, I would love to. I think that's a great idea.
That one thing, and share it with me personally, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to give just a real quick closing reflection on what I've got to share with you. And I'm thankful for you. I believe you were put in my world for a reason. Your story is layered. It's raw. It's your sacred story. You were failed by a man who was supposed to be there to protect you, and he failed, sadly. But you are breaking generational curses.
Yep.
And you know the type of woman that you are and that you're going to be, and you will continue to be. You love in safe places, and you will continue to love. Don't ever let your love fade.
Yeah.
You've made it. You've discovered who you are. You discovered your truth. You're here today, not just by surviving, but you're speaking, and that's power. That's your healing, and that's your hope. I think that there is going to be people out there that are very much going to resonate with your story, whether it be the abuse side or coming out. And for people to know that it's okay. Like you said, it's okay. And so what we just heard is it's a journey of pain, identity, and survival. A young girl who was caught between two homes, an abusive father, and an absent foundation of love. And in the middle of all of that, you had a brave realization, that you came out. And that was already something that you had to add to your complex life. Something that you shouldn't have to hide, something that you shouldn't have to stay silent. But you didn't. You found your voice, your truth, and your strength. So this episode is a reminder that even in a world that doesn't offer you a place to belong, you can still create your own. And you did just that.
Thank you.
So if today's conversation resonated with you and you want to share it with somebody who needs to know that they're not alone, if you have a story that needs to be told, if you have a burning letter that you want to burn, you can go ahead and visit us at the Burning Letters podcast and submit your story. Until next time, let it hurt, let it heal, and let it burn. Well, here we are again to do your burn letter and to just release the emotions, the feelings, and everything else that you've kind of like just bottled up inside of you for the last couple decades. A long time, right?
At this point.
And so I want you to know, though, what you may feel or the emotions that you may have, you may feel different. You may feel relief. You may feel mad, angry. You're going to have some sort of different feelings, and that's okay. It's really that. It's what you're going to do is be able to release and just let it go, and you're going to find peace within it all. Because with a burn letter, it brings you purification, it brings you clarification, and it brings you renewal. And when you let it go, okay?
All right.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
You know I got a question, right? And my question for you is, do you want to read your letter and then burn it, or do you just want to burn it?
Let's read it and burn it.
Let's do it.
All right. A letter to Scott, a.k.a. Captain, as my friends know him. A few months shy of 32 years old, and when I stop for even a second to think about what I've gone through to make it here, I instantly feel deep sadness, it sends chills up my body, and tears flood my eyes. I was just a little girl is a phrase that silently seeps from my mouth as I think of the way you treated me. My earliest memory
surrounded by pain, fear, hostility, and toxicity. I was always scared, living in a state of constant fear. I wasn't scared of the monsters under my bed because the scariest monster I ever encountered lived across the hall. I called him Dad. I hear your footsteps walking towards my room and my entire body clenches. I take a deep breath. I know what's coming. I knew at 5, I knew at 10, I knew at 15 years old that the wrath of your anger and deep embedded pain was mine to endure. You were irresponsible with your rage, with your emotions, and with me. When I turned 26, you said to me on my birthday, I was your age, 26 when you were born, kid. I wish you never reminded me that I had finally become the age my parents were when they had me. It stuck with me. Every year on my birthday since then, I think of how old I was and compare myself to you at my age. I turned 31 last year, and I knew that at this age you had a 5-year-old girl. I immediately think about being that 5-year-old little girl and how I was this age when I first remember you putting your hands on me. I remember looking at you and I was so confused. I'd heard you yell at Mom, I'd seen you be rough with her, but I still couldn't comprehend that my own dad could hurt me. You were rough, you didn't have control, and you showed me what a real monster was. As I grew up, the physical discipline got worse. You pushed me to the ground, you would put your knee in my neck until I could barely breathe, you slapped me across the face and gave me bloody noses, and you whipped me with a belt until my entire back and thighs were covered in welts. You shoved my face in my own feces and humiliated me an unspeakable number of times. Move your hands, you'd yell as I tried to protect myself. After my hands got sore and I couldn't fight you anymore, I would just lie there. Clenching my eyes closed with tears pouring down my face and the sound leaving my voice, I felt so weak, so pathetic, and I wished to die. When I knew the punishment was coming, I would cry and beg you no. I'd watch as you slide the belt off and told me to turn around, and without a doubt, every time I told you I loved you first. I'm not sure at what age I started doing that, I just know it was the first thing I always did. I'm sorry, Dad, please no, I'd beg. Turn around. Dad, please, I love you. But it never worked. Hearing the desperation in my voice never stopped you. After you left me lying there on the ground, you'd slam my door shut and go into your bedroom. It wasn't until I was older that I found out it was so you could go get high to relax. 30 minutes would go by, you'd open the door back up into my room and say something along the lines of, I'm sorry I was so upset. I love you, kid. Get up now. And I would. I'd drag myself off the floor and I'd sit at the dinner table with you and accept that this is what you meant when you said I love you, kid. When I was in elementary school, you would drop me off and tell me that if I told anyone what happened to me, that I'd get taken away. Kirsten, look at me. If you tell anyone what happened, you won't see Daddy anymore. They'll take you away from me. So I hid. I protected you and didn't even realize that by doing that, I was betraying myself. Morgan, my best friend since 3rd grade, was the first one to notice. She saw the back of my shirt lift and I cried as she touched the welts on my back. I'll never forget the look on her face when her eyes met mine. She looked horrified, and I cried so hard. We stood in the middle of the map of the world that was painted on our elementary school ground and we hugged. I wanted her to save me. I wanted everyone to save me growing up. As I got older, I started to run away when I was at your house. I wasn't safe, so I'd bolt for the door. Most of the time I would barely make it down the hallway before you'd catch up to me, push me to the ground, and drag me back into my bedroom. I have a vivid memory of being 14 and barely making it out the front door. I got away from you in my room as you shoved me into a mirror and it shattered at my feet. I started running down the hall, around the living room, into the front door. I swung that door open and was met with a locked security door. You had caught up with me at that point and kicked me in the back straight into the door. My body slammed so hard against the door I remember it knocking the wind out of me. I turned the lock and fell into the front yard and I could hear you not far from behind me. I tried to get up and run, fell again in the driveway. Blood running down my nose, bruises covering my chest. I looked back at you as you stood in the doorway. You stopped chasing me only because you didn't want to make a scene. I relied on my friends' parents to protect me. I'd run to their houses and stay as long as I could. This went on until I finally moved out at 17. I was free. I didn't need you anymore. I slept on couches, I dropped out of school, I got my GED, I worked a full-time job, and I did everything I could to take care of myself. But I was lost. I'd spent my entire life yelling, fighting, and screaming my way through. I didn't know what it meant to be safe with my own father. How could I ever recognize safety in another human? You were the one who showed me and taught me what it meant to be loved. After you had emotionally and physically abused me, I had no other choice but to accept your apologies and wipe my tears, and that's what I continued to do until adulthood. I found toxic love with most partners, and I became a toxic partner. I loved in the only way I knew how, and I received love that matched yours perfectly. I married a woman who verbally and physically abused me, who would apologize and show remorse the same way you did, and I accepted that. As a 28-year-old woman, I became that 5, 10, and 15-year-old girl all over again. I scraped myself off the floor as my wife came back into the room and told me to get up, and I accepted this for myself because this is what I knew love to be. I stayed when I was being abused, I stayed when the days were good, and I stayed on the bad days because what else was I to do? I've been in therapy since I was 18, and I've been medicated ever since. I've spent years and years navigating through life as a broken, barely living person. I have to unlearn years of pain, years of toxicity, years of brokenness. I decided to protect that little girl the only way I know how, and it's by giving her the adulthood that she deserves. So I try every single day to be better than I was the day before. I get up, I fight the depression and the hurt, I look at myself in the mirror and I silently say I love you. I wonder if she hears me, that scared little girl that lives inside me. I know she's still there because she comes out in the undeniable times. When I'm at my breaking point, when I feel abandoned, when I'm scared, I see her. She's in my actions and the way I lash out, in the depths of my heart as the tears pour from my eyes. She's in there, broken and lost, looking for a sign that everything will be okay. I hold her now, I protect her, I do all the things for her that you never did. But some days it still doesn't feel like enough. Sometimes I feel like you ruined me, like I'll never escape, but I will, and I do. I close my eyes, hold myself, and reassure myself that I'm okay, that I'm worthy, that I'm someone who's not always in the way like you used to say. I sat with you a few years back after having the strength to leave my wife, and you looked at me and said, I'm sorry you married your father. You found someone who treated you as terribly as I did, and I'm so sorry, kid. Don't call me kid. Your remorse showed up decades too late. If only I could suture my wounds with your guilt. I wish that your words had done for me what you were hoping. But instead, I walked away from that table with your apology, knowing that apologies don't heal all wounds. Who you are made me who I am. It must have been a hard pill to swallow, knowing that you failed your only child. Dad, I wish you the life you deserve.
Wow.
Let's burn it.
Let's burn it. All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So as you know, I say, let it hurt, let it heal, let it burn. You ready?
Let it hurt, let it heal, let it burn.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if I can. Is there a trick?
I don't know this because if people down there has a great day or maybe more money. Oh yeah, you can at least get out and have
That's a serious burn.
That is a serious burn. Can I just chuck it at this point?
Let it burn a little bit further.
Okay.
Because that's going to wash ashore probably, and somebody's actually going to see it, and they're going to read that small part that's going to be left, but they won't know what that burn meant to you. And when you're ready, drop it.
I think that's enough. Love you.
I love you too. That was a serious letter, girl.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for allowing me to share this with you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You don't even know.
I owe so much to you, so thank you so much for being my safe space.
You're welcome. I will always be your safe space, no matter what it is.
Oh, I love you, Mama.
I love you too. Whether you're here or in Arizona. Don't call me and tell me you need to come get me to us. I'll be over.
I'll hear you coming too because the bass will be rattling.
Right, exactly. Exactly it. That's exactly what we'll do.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.